Hello and welcome to the final of the 6 core disciplines. We have made our way back to Dexterity. Just to recap, Dexterity has to do with the fine motor skills, with the use of the hands. It has to do with using tools, manipulating objects in 3-dimensional space. It has to do with the appropriate application of force, gentleness and lightness of touch, depending on the situation, and overall control of the hands. So the first subdivision is medicine. Medicine is the disciplines having to do with the care of the body, treatment of disease, enhancement of wellness. It touches up against the cognitive domain, but we're talking about the applied hands-on expertise, which assists with the study of the body. We will look at medical practices, precision activities which enhance the health and wellness of people with manipulation in 3D space, right? So I'm going to go through this list of disciplines for the medical field, but keep in mind, this is one of the most heavily guarded behind a paywall occupations of all time, perhaps ever. Medical school is extremely expensive. Actually, going to school to get certified, to be able to practice, is a big commitment and a big choice. But there's nothing to say that you can't study ahead of time, take some pre-med classes. That's what I did, starting out in community college, which were just so valuable for my understanding of my own body and for applying later in life. So regardless of whether you're actually planning to become a doctor later in life, it's a really great idea to study as much as you can about your own biology, about the way that your body works, and, what to do in emergency situations. These are some of the most important life skills to know, regardless of whether you're pursuing a formal education. But I'm going to list these out. I'm not going to go through the definition for every single one. If you find one of them interesting, by all means, please look it up and go find out more, get some books about it. And dive right in. I highly recommend it. So the disciplines that I've compiled are surgery, internal medicine, occupational therapy, kinesiology, massage, chiropractic, rehabilitation, dentistry, cardiology, pharmaceutical, radiology, phlebotomy, dermatology, pediatrics, anesthesiology, neurology, orthopedics, rheumatology, sports medicine, mortuary science, endocrinology, nursing, pathology, and veterinary medicine. It doesn't always have to be about people, right? So, the second subdivision of dexterity is sculpture, which is a very broad term, basically meaning the manipulation of materials in 3-dimensional space, either additive or subtractive. It involves the use of tools with the hands, and crafting mediums to change the form of an object into something useful or aesthetically pleasing. Materials may be subjected to changes in temperature or chemical reactions. So this includes the entirety of applied arts, anything that's kind of a heavier material. I separate the more 2-dimensional visual arts into its own category. So here we're just talking about heavier materials like metal, wood, botanicals, various clays, things like that. So I'm going to list them in detail and go a little bit more into it here because I have some knowledge of most of these. So the list of sculpting disciplines: glass blowing, beading, wood carving, foam crafting, which includes things like EVA foam, craft foam, different thermoplastics such as Warbla or PETG. Vacuum forming would fall under this category. It's used very commonly for props, weapon making, cosplay, things like that. Sewing, taxidermy, welding, pottery, ceramics, quilting, bookbinding, leatherwork, chainmail, wire wrapping, smithing, sculpting as a broad category. I mean it here to be more like figural sculpting. Lapidary, which is the study of rocks and minerals and crafting with them. That can include gem cutting, semi-precious gemstones, just smoothing and grinding, things like that. Cobbling, which is making shoes. Instrument crafting, carpentry, skilled trades, including plumbing, electrical, HVAC, things like that. Weaving, botanicals, perfumery, printmaking, lino cutting, which is making stamps, basically. Miniatures of all kinds. Drafting, model building, costumery, repairing things, floral arrangement, salvaging materials, candle making, ornamentation, and furniture design. So that concludes our skill matrix discipline definitions. This lays the groundwork for developing this matrix further in the future. And I hope that you found these quick little videos helpful in maybe guiding you to your next interest or hobby. Maybe you discovered something you hadn't heard of before and can find some resources locally or online to pursue a new interest. That would be really cool. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this. And let me know in the comments if it was helpful, if the format was useful at all. Probably only this set will be this way, but I'm going to keep messing with it and see what works the best. Thank you so much for joining me.